Hi, here I am on the 28th of May, sitting and having a cup of coffee early in the morning in Kolkata, India, and talking about how India, in my view, is getting mass poisoned through glyphosate. My today's rant is only partially about the inconvenient truth regarding glyphosate. Mainly, it focuses on my departure from the common activities expected out of an environmentally conscious anti GMO activist. What do I mean? Well, to start with, I wish to declare that after years of going with the flow, screaming against Monsanto in North America, signing petitions, and going on talking tours across the length and breadth of Canada, and being part of many organizations, I have quit them all. No, I am not giving up on activism, but I decided I was wasting my time, and my time was too precious to be wasted. I became thoroughly disenchanted by the anti GMO talking heads like Jeffrey Smith of the US, Vandana Shiva of India, author Steve Drucker of the US, etc., not so much because of what they did, but rather because what they did not do or what they tap danced around and failed to alert the people about. This is my perception. I also decided that almost all NGOs and resistance groups I had so far been involved in were worse than a waste of time for me. They were definitely counterproductive in the sense that they were using my time, my efforts, and my money on useless pursuits that were designed, in my mind, to fail to tackle the root problem. They continued to misguide the people. Again, my impression. In some ways, these groups and talking heads appeared to be the flip side of the same coin and were both milking the system from opposite ends. Neither wanted the problem to be eradicated. That was the impression I got after years of wasting my personal time and money, and I decided to cut my links to them all, hook, line, and sinker, and venture out all by myself. I was not going to ask for money from anybody. I was not going to try and speak with people as a means to try to solve the problem of poison in our food and environment. I had decided that most people that listen are essentially groupies that clap hands and hang out with notables but otherwise do nothing meaningful, and that the talking heads ensure that the population stays thus mesmerized and engaged in uselessness. So then, what was I going to do? Well, I did not know clearly, but decided to focus on what appeared to me to be part of the root evil, our political system that allows unproven and potentially dangerous products to be allowed in through corruption in high places and allowing science to be captured by the industry. I had no money, no political clout, no people support, nothing. But I had me. And I decided to go after the Canadian government single-handed within my capacity and try to address at least one or two of the root issues. Succeed or fail, I was at least going to have the satisfaction of trying and giving my best shot at what I considered to be the root problem which nobody else was willing to address. All considered, I have had a measure of success, and I have become a kind of an example that going it all alone without any support for a single average person is perhaps better than all other options out there. Perhaps some folks, just a handful, will take cue and chalk their own path in their own region to tackle root issues single-handed if need be. Perhaps citizen activism at the grassroots level without talking heads and professional leaders was our only shot left to save this planet, if it at all can be saved at this late stage. Going it alone and without support has great advantages. I cannot be purchased, influenced, corrupted, or sidetracked by money or bullshit. And money and bullshit can come from both sides of the coin, as I have found out. And now, back to India. Glyphosate is likely mass poisoning India already. A nation of over 1 billion people, this is already the diabetes capital of the world. It is, in my casual observation and without statistics, at the cusp of a major epidemic of autoimmune disease. I feel certain that future will prove me to be correct. Glyphosate has penetrated India in unprecedented level and in unexpected areas. It is my suspicion that glyphosate plays a significant, if not the primary role in slow poisoning India. The so-called resistance movement appears to be fixed and fixated on GMO alone and allowed glyphosate to penetrate the land from coast to the mountains. This fixation is one more reason how poison peddling industry wins out by keeping the people focused away from the greatest danger of glyphosate already affecting the whole of the nation. Since I cut my links and burned my bridges, I do not need to be politically correct and afraid of offending anyone. I do not believe the resistance movement is going to save India. If India is to be saved, the job will have to be done by the common man, performing the most important role in a functioning democracy, that of being a responsible citizen and wrenching the control of a failing democratic system away from the clutches of either big money or useless organizations that make a career out of talking against Monsanto. Monsanto has almost nothing to do with it. It is the politician that is betraying your interest, and that is happening because you have been sleeping or listening to the wrong guys. So, while I do not look to be speaking to the people, at times I do accept an invitation. Thus, I shall be speaking at a small study circle on 5th of June by invitation in South Kolkata, India, by a group of scientists and mathematicians. The topic of my talk will be glyphosate, the molecule that is mass poisoning India and the world, how it remains invisible under media radar, how expecting solutions from governments, political parties, and resistance groups are a waste of time, and finally, how it is for the citizens themselves to address this global and national crisis directly, individually, and each within his or her own capacity. Thank you.